Hey there! Welcome to a brand new episode of Muzikxpress. My name is Twan and in this week's vlog you will see my interview with Jeroen Verheij about the secret cinema classic Timeless Altitude. But before we start with the interview, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and, very important, also make sure to click the bell button because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. Alright, here it is, the story behind Secret Cinema's Timeless Altitude, my interview with Jeroen Verheij. Enjoy! Secret Cinema is a project from Dutch producer Jeroen Verheij. The very first ever Secret Cinema release came out back in the year 1994. I'm talking about the techno classic Timeless Altitude, which is still one of Jeroen's most well-known releases ever. After my previous interview with Jeroen about the Manx Syndicate track Sonar System, I did another interview with him in which he shares the story behind Timeless Altitude by Secret Cinema. My first question to Jeroen was what the meaning is behind the project name Secret Cinema.
Yeah, Secret Cinema. Like with Manx Syndicate, of course, I was 16 when I was on the dance floor. And then I closed my eyes and I saw all kind of images coming by while listening to the music. And then I thought, this is my private cinema. This is your secret cinema. So when music speaks to your imagination and you start seeing images in your mind that only you can see, that is your secret cinema.
And it sounds good as well, the words, you know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's based on a lot of things because we used to do also film nights in Amsterdam and that was in the old Fiat building. It's near the Amstel station. And Dadara was also doing film nights there. And then I already was playing a little bit with that idea. And then, one time I was on the dance floor and this is it, this is the meaning. So that's why.
Yeah. So at that time you already released music under names such as Manx Syndicate, Forgotten World and Point Blank. So what was the reason you started like a new alias?
Yeah, the funny thing was that I was just making tracks and then every time there was a release I came up with an artist name basically. That's why.
Yeah.
But Secret Cinema, the first track was of course Timeless Altitude and 25 years later people still play that track. It tended to be pretty timeless and I stayed with that name because it felt most close to me, I guess. It was more like the harder club sound, basically. Mm-hmm. So you could still play it in a club, but it had a little bit more balls than just the strictly rhythm tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's why it was called Secret Cinema. And then Point Blank was more credible underground techno, and funny enough all the credible young kids now they rediscover that track as to be one of the better Dutch underground hits or tracks, and Joris Voorn also thinks it's one of the best Dutch tracks ever made also.
If Joris says so then...
I think he knows what he's doing. He also studied musical instrument. Oh. I'm not saying anything, no, I love this guy.
So you already mentioned it, like a Timeless Altitude. So for that track, did you start with the melody first, or did you come up with the beats first?
Yeah, I came up. The story about the track is interesting because at that time I was always going to Dimitri parties. Dimitri from Amsterdam. For me, it was the most creative, inducing or creative, sparkling DJ. And he played always called crack music from dubplate, from acetate. Mm-hmm. So he was the only one that could play it. He got the DAT or whatever, the WAV file, and then he pressed it on a record, and then there was only one available. And then he played a called crack track, which called I think 69, and it has a sample in it from an old disco track. Yeah, and inside the track there's this sound going And that track made such an impact on me that it stayed with me. And the Kurzweil K2000 had a sampler, so I was like, yeah, let's do something fun. Let's play a chord on the piano, and then I'm gonna sample it, and then then reverse that sample, and then put reverb on it, and then reverse that again, and then see what it sounds like. And that became dun 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 dun. And that's that melody. And then I remember that I wanted to have something that rises with a similar sound to that 69 track by Cockrack. And then, there is this drum beat that I made, and then, with a whole verb on it. And then, so the piano comes, and then every time a little bit more, and that became basically the main theme. And the piano thing is, of course, pretty hypnotic. And then when the piano theme stops and only those beats stay, you still feel like you're going forward, And then at that time I was working at Hot Sound in Rotterdam, together with Gert-Jan Bijl, who is also Sensoriel and Gert and all that. And with him, of course, we had a lot of interaction about music and what equipment to buy. And then Michel de Heij was buying records there. He knew me from Meng Syndicate, and he wanted to start a label already a couple of years ago. But he was doing it with a company that went bankrupt, maybe BMI, something like that. Not really sure. So that was postponed a little bit. And then he was buying some records, and I said, hey, I have this track here. Maybe you can have a listen. You're a DJ. And he was like, wow, what is this? Okay, can I release it? And he said, yeah, sure. And then, it was, I think it was the 5th release on his label, EC Records. So it's EC Records 05. And then it came out, and it was immediately sold out. And then I think we sold 25,000 copies or something.
Oh, wow.
And then Music Man came and they wanted to license it. And I think Music Man already licensed Meng Syndicate also, my first release ever. And they did it on another label. It wasn't ARS, but then they licensed it on another first sort of Music Man startup. I can't remember the name right now. Then I met Stefan, of course, and they really loved it. So they were the ones that did the remix with Jochem Paap, with Speedy J, and all those other obscure remixes. So then, it got a new, of course,
like a new life.
A new life again. That was, but the B-side is actually also quite nice with those vocals.
I have to be honest, I know there's a B-side, but I can't remember what it sounds like. I will check it out.
Love, oh love, something like that.
Do you remember how long it took you to finish the track?
1 day.
1 day.
Yeah, everything was in one take.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to return a little bit to the one take feel that I had when I just started. But it really started to lift off when I bought the MPC 3000 from Akai, which I just had refurbished actually with a friend, Wijnand. Also a good friend of you, Lucien Ford, by the way. And he knows everything about that kind of stuff. And he said, if you ever need something fixed, come by. And then, I came by and we bought a new LED screen and put everything in. So it's functioning now. Yeah. Because I was thinking maybe to do some videos online to show how I made.
Yeah.
How I made the track.
Yeah.
And then I need all that old equipment, of course. I still have the Kurzweil, I still have the MPC, I still have the Amiga. The MPC really made me and the Kurzweil into, think just about the track, because you need to go from pattern to pattern. So every time I thought, okay, now it needs to change, I needed to copy the pattern and then take some sounds out, and so the track is more in your head than looking at a computer or something, So I had a mixer, I think it was a Soundcraft, and then you just press play, and then all the effects and even that sound coming up, I was doing on the Kurzweil itself. I didn't have a MIDI controller for it, so I was just with the cursor making it louder, and then the kick out, and then one take, boom, and that's it.
Oh wow!
So basically Yeah, preparation took maybe a day because of that idea with the piano chord, and then I remembered that crawl crack track, and then I resampled the beat, you know, and then it sounds really lush. And yeah, that became the main theme, and then recorded in one take, showed it to Michel 2 days later, and a week later it was on vinyl, and
oh wow,
that's the history.
It's funny how sometimes how how quick things can go, you know? Like an idea, and then so what did you say? Like you recorded it, and like a week later it was already on vinyl, something like that.
Sort of. I remember that. Yeah, I remember it like that because Michel was having a club night. I don't know if it was already then, but I'm sure he was already playing residential in residency in Nighttown. So I think he made an acetate first. Okay. It's a dub plate. Yeah, so you go to the vinyl pressing, and then you have your DAT, and then you pretend that it's going to be the master from which every vinyl is going to be pressed. But you can take that dub plate and start playing it yourself. Only it's made from bakelite, so it's super soft. So the old 78 RPM records. If you drop them, then you have a problem. Yeah, exactly. And if you have to carry that case, you also have a problem because they're 4 times the weight of a normal vinyl, I think. And they smell funny also. I actually like the smell, but yeah. And then Michel could play it. But I think with this one we released it really quick because it was like, this track is perfect. You can't do anything about it anymore. Just release it. Do you remember hearing it in a club yourself the first time? Yeah, of course I was hanging out with Michel a lot, so I was going to a lot of gigs. So yeah, I could hear all the tracks mostly instantly. Yeah, and then I was playing live from the moment I could do it. So I had an MPC, I had the Kurzweil, and then we had to bring all that stuff always into the club, and yeah, and then I was doing live sets, and so yeah, I could already hear my own music live because I was playing it live, you know. So isn't it like a hassle if you have to travel abroad, like with all the equipment? Yeah. You know, back in the day, DJs were not flying that much yet, I think. Maybe just Carl Cox and Judge Jules or whatever, you know. That was when it just started, but I didn't want to be a DJ because I'm a producer, so I wanted to, you know, show musicians like, hey, you don't have to become a DJ to travel the world, you can also do it live. But in the end, yeah, I couldn't hold that up anymore. But I played live for 15 years, and then Michel was the DJ, and then he could play all the tracks. But in the end I could see that it was also holding me back. But most of my gigs were always in Holland, maybe because of that. Because I was playing live, it was more difficult, you know, to have a booking and stuff. And yeah, DJing was not really me. I could do it, but yeah, it just didn't feel right, you know. It was feeling like I was yeah, sort of leaving my, you know, my art behind or whatever, you know. So I thought, yeah, that's the easy way out. But in the end, playing with vinyl is not that easy. But yeah, that was normal, of course. But yeah, I really wanted to show that you could play live. But my first live thing was an illegal rave under the Delta Works dam near Zeeland. And then I had my Amiga, and then you know, from DAT to Amiga to DAT to Amiga, and then mixing them in. Yeah. So what's the funniest or weirdest thing that did ever happen during a gig? Well, there was one gig, and then it was, you know, Paul Elstak wanted me as the yeah, what do you call it again? The opening act. Yeah, basically the opening act of a band, because he was Holy Noise and it was quite successful. And then he wanted to have Manx Syndicate as opening act every time. But I was like, yeah, how am I gonna perform with just Amiga, you know? He said, yeah, just record everything on a DAT and then you pretend to play live, you know? Because that's what they did also. So I thought that was normal. And then there was Tomorrowland or something, the club. There was a club, Tomorrow World. Yeah, Tomorrowland, right? And then they invited me to play there again with Paul Elstak, and then I was playing, and then I had a keyboard and everything on stage, but of course I was doing it, their way, and then all power went off, but the music continued. So that was the last time that I ever faked a live set, and it was very early on because I was still in school.
And
93.
It's more fun anyway to do it like live,
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have the means. I couldn't. I could barely afford just one computer. In the end, I could have done it with two, which I'm doing now. Just two laptops and mix them like it's a track, but you have full control of everything. So yeah, after COVID, I'm probably gonna go back to doing live shows again. So that's also kind of cool that could happen. But yeah, so because of the MPC and the K2000, that really lifted my career to the next level. Because I could really do what I wanted, and every sound that I had in my head, I could also recreate. And a lot of the tracks that became hits. They are made in 1994 actually. I made I think 10 tracks that you can still play today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So that was a good year.
Yeah.
So you already said like during the years you did lots of tracks under all kinds of project names, and we know that there's a new project name coming up. So out of all your productions, do you have a favorite one? I know it's a difficult question, but.
Well, there was like a VPRO, the DJ Top 100 Best Tracks of All Times or something last year or this year. I have no idea what time is anymore, but anyway, I think it was this year. But they asked all the prominent DJs of Holland to make a list with their favorite tracks in it, and. Merry Go Wild was in that list a lot, which for me is kind of funny because, there were certain clubs or festivals that I wasn't invited to because I made Merry Go Wild, which is a commercial track, so you're not credible and all that shit. But now the most credible of all to me is VPRO, which is 3 voor 12, which is. So it was really nice to hear that it was actually in the top 10, the Merry Go Wild. And it's in between Lil Louis and Night of the Jaguar, so French Kiss and Night of the Jaguar. And then we were listening to the top 10 in the car, and I have to say it's Merry Go Wild. I think they mastered it at Spinning, because Spinning owns the rights now. But in between all those tracks, that track just blew every single one of that top 50 out of the water. It just sounds so fat. I couldn't believe it myself because I never heard it like that, And also in between all those kind of tracks. I would never place myself in between those kind of musicians. But to hear it like that in a row, it would just, it just was fresh and sparkling and really creamy, warm bass, and it just sounded so good. I was amazed by it. I would never say it's my favorite record.
But it's a special record.
But listening like that, yeah, definitely.
And here in the Netherlands, it also has been like at number 1 in the House Top 1000.
Yeah, exactly. So for the Netherlands, it has a really big. It just brings a sparkle every time. It doesn't matter if you're 20 years old and maybe you heard it in the belly of your mom or something. It still does something to you, and it's particularly in Holland, funny enough.
Yeah, that's what I was, because like my girlfriend, she's not from the Netherlands, so she doesn't know the track, and like it's weird.
And what does she think of it when?
She liked it, but it's like a happy track, and it stays in your head. So
it's funny because I think Joris bought a Kurzweil recently, and then he sent me a little video where he's playing that melody. And he's like, it's brilliant, it's genius. And I'm like,
I know.
I have no idea. It was just what feels right, It's funny, if you don't know, then you also don't. The thing is, when I started to know more about the equipment, I also started raising the bar more high and started releasing less. Because the more you know, the more difficult it gets to peel, a certain prejudice off your body and your mind. It always occupies you. It's 24/7. When you choose to do it, there is no escape from it.
So yeah, Secret Cinema, what can we expect from Secret Cinema in the near future?
Well, there is a Secret Cinema versus Egbert coming on my own label, on Jam Records, and the timing is really, really nice because now that the festivals are open.
Oh, perfect.
Also, it finally finished because we're always kind of slow with everything, and I always want to tweak a little bit more. And but now it stands like a house, which is a really good Dutch saying. Yeah. And I'm really looking forward to play it super loud.
Yeah.
I can't wait because I think it's a banging festival, cracking, booming track.
What's the title?
It's called Random 47.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's based on all those tracks that I made, and this is number 47, and that is where I started recording at 42.
Okay.
So I was first experimenting a lot. And then at random track number 42, I started recording, and this was the fifth one. Okay. And then, he picked that out, and he said, yeah, this is really cool, and then took all the stems from it, made a re-edit, and then came back to me, and then I added some extra stuff, and then, now it's finished, and I really can't wait. It's really, full on hands in the air, but still in between credible and definitely not cheesy. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to hear it.
Yeah.
Maybe see it live.
Yeah, it would be nice.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much for your time and good luck with everything.
Same to you, and good luck everyone.
All right, that was it. This week's vlog, my interview with Jeroen Verheij about the Secret Cinema classic Timeless Altitude. Jeroen, thank you very much for your time, much appreciated. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. If you did, make sure to give this video a like, leave a comment in the comment section below, and very important, make sure to subscribe. Also make sure to click the bell button, because then you will get a notification the next time a new vlog is online. And in case you missed it, I did another interview with Jeroen, and in that one he tells the story behind the Mang Syndicate track Sonar System, which was Jeroen's very first ever release. That interview is on my channel already, so make sure to check it out. Once again, thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye!